Today, we re-diving into one of Hans Christian Andersen's most bittersweet and profound tales, The Steadfast Tin Soldier. This isn't just a story about toys. It's a deep exploration of unwavering love, destiny, and the quiet courage that defines a true hero. Our story begins on a little boy's birthday. Among his many wonderful gifts is a set of 25 tin soldiers, all cast from the same old tin spoon. They are identical in every way, except for one. The last soldier to be made ran short of tin, leaving him with only one leg. But this didn't make him weak. He stood just as firmly on his single leg as his brothers did on two. From his post on the table, he surveyed his new world. His eyes soon fell upon a magnificent paper castle. And standing in the doorway of this castle was a tiny, enchanting dancer. She was also made of paper, wearing a delicate dress with a sparkling spangle on her sash. Like him, she stood on one leg, the other lifted high in a graceful pose. The tin soldier was instantly captivated. She must be like me, he thought. She has only one leg, too. She would be the perfect wife for me. He fell deeply in love from that very moment, his tin heart full of admiration for the beautiful ballerina. That night, when all the toys came to life, the soldier stood silently, his gaze fixed on the dancer. But he wasn't the only one with eyes for her. A wicked goblin, who lived in a jack-in-the-box, grew jealous. "Tin soldier," he jeered. "Keep your eyes to yourself." But the soldier pretended not to hear, continuing to admire his love from afar. The goblin warned him, "Just you wait until tomorrow." And sure enough, the next morning, disaster struck. Whether it was the goblin's doing, or just a gust of wind, the tin soldier was knocked from the windowsill and fell 3 stories down to the street below. He landed headfirst, his bayonet stuck between the paving stones. It was a terrifying fall for a tiny soldier, but he remained steadfast, never crying out. The little boy and the maid searched for him, but they walked right past without seeing him. If only he had called out, they would have found him. But he thought it was unbecoming for a soldier in uniform to shout for help. Soon, it began to rain. The drops fell faster and faster, until it was a downpour. When the storm subsided, 2 boys found him. "Look," one said. "A tin soldier. Let's send him on a voyage." They made a small boat from a piece of newspaper, placed the tin soldier inside, and set him sailing down the gutter. The water rushed along, carrying him on a perilous journey. The soldier stood firm in his paper boat, holding his musket tightly, his gaze fixed straight ahead. He passed under a little wooden bridge, and it became as dark as his own barracks. "Where am I going now?" he wondered. "This must be the goblin's fault. Oh, if only the little dancer were here with me in the boat, I wouldn't care how dark it was." Suddenly, a huge water rat who lived in the sewer popped its head out. "Do you have a passport?" the rat demanded. "Show me your passport." But the soldier remained silent, clutching his musket as the current grew stronger. The rat swam after him, gnashing its teeth, but the boat sped on. The soldier could see daylight ahead as the sewer emptied into a wide canal. But he also heard a roaring sound, loud enough to frighten any brave man. The water was plunging over a steep drop, like a waterfall for a tiny soldier. He was too close to stop. The boat shot over the edge, and the poor soldier held himself as stiffly as he could. No one could say he flinched. The boat spun around and filled with water, beginning to sink. The water closed over the soldier's head. He thought of his lovely little dancer, whom he would never see again. The paper boat dissolved, and just as he was completely submerged, a large fish swallowed him whole. Oh, it was even darker inside the fish than in the sewer. And so cramped. But the tin soldier was undaunted. He lay there at full length, steadfast as ever, holding his musket. After some time, the fish thrashed about wildly, and then lay still. A flash of lightning seemed to strike through it. The day grew bright, and a voice cried out, "The tin soldier! What a miracle!" The fish had been caught, taken to the market, sold, and brought into a kitchen, where the cook had just cut it open with a knife. She picked up the soldier and carried him into the living room. Everyone gathered around to see the remarkable toy who had traveled inside a fish. They placed him back on the table, and to his astonishment, he was in the very same room as before. He saw the same children, the same toys, and the magnificent paper castle with the lovely little dancer at the door. She was still standing on one leg, just as steadfast as he was. The soldier was so moved he could have wept tin tears, but that wouldn't be proper for a soldier. He looked at her, and she looked at him, but they said nothing. Their hearts understood everything. Their reunion, however, was tragically brief. Without any warning, one of the little boys, perhaps prompted by the jealous goblin, perhaps by sheer accident, grabbed the tin soldier and threw him straight into the hot stove. The soldier felt a scorching heat. He looked at the little dancer, and she looked at him. He could feel himself melting, but he still stood firm, holding his musket. Suddenly, a door flew open, and a gust of wind caught the paper ballerina. She flew like a sylph, straight into the fire, right next to the soldier. She flared up in a bright flame and was gone. The soldier melted down completely. The next morning, when the maid was cleaning out the ashes from the stove, she found what was left of him, a small, heart-shaped lump of tin. And among the cinders, she also found the dancer's little spangle, burned as black as coal. They had been separated by fate, tested by incredible trials, and finally, reunited in the flames. So, what can we take away from this beautiful, heart-wrenching story? The themes are as timeless as the tale itself. First, it speaks to the incredible power of loyalty. The soldier, though he faces one hardship after another, never wavers in his duty or his love. His steadfastness is his defining characteristic. He is a symbol of someone who, despite being broken or incomplete, remains true to his purpose and his heart. The story also paints a profound picture of true love. The soldier and the ballerina share a silent, unbreakable bond. Even when they are worlds apart, his memory of her keeps him strong. Their love isn't about grand gestures or passionate speeches. It's a quiet, constant flame that endures through separation and darkness, ultimately uniting them, even in destruction. It suggests that some connections are so deep they transcend the physical world. Courage is another central theme. The soldier's bravery isn't shown in battle, but in his resilience. He doesn't complain, he doesn't despair, he simply stands firm through every trial: the fall, the sewer, the fish's belly, and the fire. It teaches us that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the ability to endure with dignity and resolve, no matter what life throws at you. Andersen also masterfully explores the idea that external appearances don't define one's worth. The soldier is imperfect with his one leg, yet he possesses more honor, loyalty, and courage than any of his perfectly formed brothers. He is judged not by his flaw, but by the strength of his character. This is a powerful reminder to look beyond the surface and value the inner qualities that truly matter. Finally, the The story is woven with the thread of fate. The soldier's incredible journey and miraculous return home feel like the work of destiny. It's as if these two souls, the soldier and the dancer, were meant to be together. Their tragic end isn't just a random accident. It's a final, fiery reunion, a fulfillment of their shared destiny. The heart-shaped piece of tin and the charred spangle are not just remnants of destruction. They are symbols of a love that was forged in fire and will last forever. The Steadfast Tin Soldier reminds us that life can be harsh and unpredictable, but the strength of our convictions and the depth of our love can see us through. It's a story that stays with you, a beautiful, melancholy melody about a love that was as steadfast as the soldier who felt it.